With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 1 of 4.
Etc.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Each one of the eons is a name, that is, each of the properties and powers of the Father, since he exists in many names, which are intermingled and harmonious with one another. Please continue watching for the ancient Gnostic teachings of the Nag Hammadi's Holy Scriptures.
Warning: sensitive images.
Life, death, the daily murder which feeding upon other animals implies. These hard and bitter problems sternly place themselves before my mind. Miserable contradiction. Let us hope that there may be another world in which the base, cruel fatalities of this may be spared for us. Yule's Missalec, vegetarian.
Naharuk Said means good day in Arabic, the official language of Egypt. I am Yasmin. The energetic people of Egypt are thankful for your kindness toward animal people. May we be similarly inspired to offer safety and dignity to all precious beings in our world. Compassionate viewers, welcome to Part 2 of Aeonic Life, selections from the Gnostic Nag Hammadi Library. The Nag Hammadi Library is a collection of early Christian and Gnostic manuscripts, also called codices, that were discovered in 1945 near the Egyptian town of Nag Hammadi. The writings in these ancient books date back nearly 2,000 years. Their discovery and translation have helped scholars to re-evaluate early Christian history and the nature of Gnosticism, an approach that is emphasized in these texts. Gnostics believe that a divine spark exists within each person through which a direct experience of God can be achieved. Today, the precious Nag Hammadi manuscript collection is housed in the Coptic Museum in Cairo, Egypt. Now, we continue to share excerpts of Aeonic life from the tripartite tractate in the Nag Hammadi Library. In Gnostic terms, the Aeon represents a level of divine perfection that came from God the Father and is without form. Within the creation of a physical realm, divinity can still be present but is no longer perfect. In this context, spiritual liberation involves repenting the mistakes of physical existence so that we may return to the formless divinity of the Aeon. Another concept in Gnostic teachings is Logos. Logos symbolizes the universal divine principle as expressed through physical form. One such representation of Logos in Gnostic scriptures is the Son of God, Lord Jesus Christ. Aeonic life. It is by virtue of his will that the Father, the one who is exalted, is known, that is, by virtue of the Spirit which breathes in the totalities, and it gives them an idea of seeking after the unknown one, just as one is drawn by a pleasant aroma to search for the thing from which the aroma arises, since the aroma of the Father surpasses these ordinary ones. For his sweetness leaves the eons in ineffable pleasure, and it gives them their idea of mingling with him, who wants them to know him in a united way and to assist one another in the spirit which is sown within them. Though existing under a great weight, they are renewed in an inexpressible way, since it is impossible for them to be separated from that in which they are set in an uncomprehending way, because they will not speak, being silent about the Father's glory, about the one who has power to speak, and yet they will take form from him. He revealed himself, though it is impossible to speak of him. They have him hidden in a thought, since from this one. They are silent about the way the Father is in his form and his nature and his greatness, while the eons have become worthy of knowing through his Spirit that he is unnameable and incomprehensible. It is through his Spirit, which is the trace of the search for him, that he provides them the ability to conceive of him and to speak about him. Each one of the eons is a name, that is, each of the properties and powers of the Father, since he exists in many names, which are intermingled and harmonious with one another. It is possible to speak of him because of the wealth of speech, just as the Father is a single name, because he is a unity, yet is innumerable in his properties and names. The emanation of the totalities, which exist from the one who exists, did not occur according to a separation from one another, as something cast off from the one who begets them. Rather, their begetting is like a process of extension, as the Father extends himself to those whom he loves, so that those who have come forth from him might become him as well. Just as the present eon, though a unity, is divided by units of time, and units of time are divided into years, and years are divided into seasons, and seasons into months, and months into days, and days into hours, and hours into moments. So too the eon of the truth, since it is a unity and multiplicity, receives honor in the small and the great names according to the power of each to grasp it. By way of analogy, like a spring, which is what it is, yet flows into streams and lakes and canals and branches, or like a root spread out beneath trees and branches with its fruit, or like a human body, which is partitioned in an indivisible way into members of members, primary members and secondary, great and small. The imperfect begetting by the Logos. The eons have brought themselves forth in accord with the third fruit by the freedom of the will, and by the wisdom with which he favored them for their thought. They do not wish to give honor with that which is from an agreement, though it was produced for words of praise for each of the pleromas, nor do they wish to give honor with the totality. Nor do they wish to do so with anyone else who was originally above the depth of that one, or above his place, except, however, for the one who exists in an exalted name and in the exalted place, and only if he receives from the one who wished to give honor, and takes it to himself for the one above him, and only if he begets himself, so to speak, himself, and through that one, begets himself along with that which he is, and himself becomes renewed along with the one who came upon him by his brother, and sees him and entreats him about the matter, namely, he who wished to ascend to him. So that it might be in this way, the one who wished to give honor does not say anything to him about this, except only that there is a limit to speech set in the pleroma, so that they are silent about the incomprehensibility of the Father, but they speak about the one who wishes to comprehend him. It came to one of the eons that he should attempt to grasp the incomprehensibility and give glory to it, and especially to the ineffability of the Father. Since he is a logos of the unity, he is one, though he is not from the agreement of the totalities, nor from him who brought them forth, namely, the one who brought forth the totality, the Father. This Aeon was among those to whom was given wisdom, so that he could become pre-existent in each one's thought. By that which he wills, will they be produced. Therefore, he received a wise nature in order to examine the hidden bases, since he is a wise fruit. For the free will which was begotten with the totalities was a cause for this one, such as to make him do what he desired, with no one to restrain him. The intent, then, of the Logos, who is this one, was good. When he had come forth, he gave glory to the Father, even if it led to something beyond possibility, since he had wanted to bring forth one who is perfect, from an agreement in which he had not been, and without having the command. This Aeon was last to have been brought forth by mutual assistance, and he was small in magnitude, and before he begot anything else for the glory of the will and in agreement with the totalities, he acted magnanimously from an abundant love, and set out toward that which surrounds the perfect glory. For it was not without the will of the Father that the Logos was produced, which is to say, not without it will he go forth. But he, the Father, had brought him forth for those about whom he knew that it was fitting that they should come into being.
Vegan, our planet is on fire. Wake up and do your part.
Peaceful viewers, thank you for joining us today on Words of Wisdom. Coming up next is A Gentle Stroll in the Garden of Classical Music, Part 2 of 2, right after noteworthy news. In Heaven's grace, may your spiritual journey be filled with wonderment and happiness.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Unsere Sendungen bieten viele Sprachen. Gehen Sie auf suprememastertv.com/schedule und suprememastertv.com/WOW.